Can we start this off with prayer though?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing us together. God, I ask that you take over this interview. May I take a back seat, and Holy Spirit, may you take over. May what needs to be heard by your people, God, may they receive this word. May they be impelled to take immediate, massive, and inspired action. May they operate out of love. Thank you so much for covering this interview. Thank you for covering Samuel's life. Thank you for covering my life, God. Thank you for covering everyone in this hotel right now. Everyone who hears this message, God. This is something even better still. In your name we pray. Amen. And so it is. Amen.
Starting things off with prayer, starting your day off with prayer. You know, whenever me and my guys used to go speak at a school or speak anywhere, we would start off in prayer, and it would just remind us to, you know, take a back seat and let God's will prevail and put us in the kind of mindset where we're operating in a way that is pleasing to God. And every time we've done it, it completely changed the trajectory of whatever it is we were about to do and made it a lot more impactful and significant.
Absolutely.
Hello everybody, my name is Samuel Emmanuel Dickerson Jr. and welcome to Better You, Better Society. Today, I'm going to be having a conversation with a very lovely woman, a very intelligent and wise woman. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, thank you so much. I appreciate that. My name is Jasmine Towns. I go by Jazz Towns or Supermodel Jazz on Instagram. And I am, well, what I do is I'm an artist as well as I'm into ministry. So I have my Sacred Soft Life at Sacred Soft Life where femininity and faith reside.
Okay, all right, so
Sacred Soft Life is my ministry, my online ministry for women who are tapping into their feminine energy and their femininity and walking by faith but backed by understanding. So I say faith and femininity resides. Being sacred meaning consecrating, being this here, right here, my relationship with God is sacred to me, it's close to me, it's I'm gonna look up the word sacred, but it is valuable. It's no one can take this away from me. It's unwavering. It's steadfast. Soft life versus a hard life, right? Soft life is more tapping into our feminine energy, doing things from flow, things that feel good, saying no to things that do not serve us, and resting in our femininity. So putting that together is a sacred, soft life.
okay, beautiful.
Thank you.
So the way that we are going to do this interview is we're just going to start. So we're basically starting right now.
Okay.
And it's not really an interview. We're basically just trying to have a conversation, and we want to make it an insightful conversation.
Okay.
And anything that we say that really sounds good, we're going to use that as content for social media so that we can grow our personal brands. And as we grow our personal brands, you know, we can monetize it or we can use it to make an impact. You know, let's say you have 1 million followers, then you can say, hey guys, buy this shirt that I'm selling. Or you can say, hey guys, donate to this charity project that I'm initiating. So I think getting attention and building an audience is like the most versatile and powerful way to make an impact in the world and get whatever it is that you want to get.
Absolutely. I agree.
Okay. What are some of your goals?
I have one goal right now, and I just started to be comfortable with sharing it. So my goal is I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn in excess of $100K plus per month with ease, grace, flow, and in perfect ways in return for the service, the merchandise, the energy, the solutions, and the value I render through vehicles that are in alignment with God's will for my life. This is something even better still.
Gotcha. So you want to make in excess, you want to make more than $100,000 per month doing things that are in alignment with God's will for your life and the things that are, I guess, in line with the things that you want to do. And it doesn't have to be in one particular field or lane. That's your goal right now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think I have a very similar goal as well. So I have this workout program and I want to sell 20,000 units a month. And that totals $400K a month. The way that I'm going to achieve that is by growing an audience, then monetizing the audience. So basically, the more famous you are, the more people know you. I can say, hey guys, so I have this program out. You know, if you're interested, go check it out.
I've always been able to draw. So I stopped using it. I stopped seeing it as a hobby that I was hoarding. Like, people knew me for years and didn't know I drew. And I'm like, to me, that's a slap in God's face. So I started taking it seriously during 2020 and turned it into a business.
Okay. How much does your art go for?
Recently, yesterday's price is not today's price.
I feel that.
Okay.
I feel that.
So right now, the biggest piece I've done so far is 36 by 48 inches. So that goes for, it's $49.50 right now. $950.
Okay.
Okay. And my previous pieces, I see.
You were like, oh snap, we talking big money, girl. I see that.
But before, I used to sell my art for pennies on a dollar, right? And that had to do with self-image. I didn't feel like I was worthy. Now I feel that this is worth this much because I said it is. And if you want it, you want it. If you don't, that's fine. Somebody else will.
I had a guy try to hit me up to do a job for like $50. I was like, oh, bro, don't ever call my phone for $50, bro. You bugging.
Right.
Like, and that's just a self-esteem thing. It's like, bro, why do I look like giving you a second of my time for $50?
And that's more about them than it's about you. And I realized that, right? Yeah. That's what they can afford right now. And that's fine if that's all they can afford. They just can't afford my work right now.
No, but you know what it is? I feel like most people, it's not that they can only afford that. I think it's their mindset. Because when I want to buy something, like if I want to buy clothes or if I want to buy anything regarding like to my business, or if I want to buy a website or buy apparel, I want to pay top dollar because I believe that everything that should be associated with me should be premium, high quality, excellent, rare, since it's amazing things that I'm getting and giving out. I should be paying top dollar.
Come on, Samuel. I'm gonna pop your collar real quick.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
Seriously, period.
I heard somebody say, like if Nike had a hotel, we can kind of imagine what the experience would be like. And I'm trying to utilize that in my brand. Like everything that I do, I want it to be like, without them even knowing it was me, they should be like, oh, this looks like his work, or this looks like that person's brand. This is their standard, and you can see their standard in their pictures, in the way that they speak, in the way that they dress.
And I want to give you another perspective on that too. So a lot of people get hung up on not starting because they feel like everything has to be perfect. That analysis paralysis, right? That used to be me. I don't want to put my name on anything until I felt like it was perfect. But nothing will ever be perfect. So you're never going to start. So, and people like to know that you're relatable. So if they see where you started versus where you are now, it's like, okay, I love the work that they're doing. I love the quality of the work that they're doing. I love their marketing. I love the brand colors, everything. They got it together, right? Look like they got it together. If they go back 2 years ago to your YouTube videos, to your Instagram, they scroll down far enough and they see the not so hot videos, like, okay, they started from there. They see themselves in you. That makes them want you, like you even more, want to do business with you even more, gravitate to you even more. You're relatable. You are not on a pedestal, I can never reach this status, you know what I mean? Like thinking about Oprah, her childhood wasn't pretty. And a lot of people went through that. So that gives them a North Star. Like, if she can do it, I can do it. Versus if she was born into being a billionaire. It's different.
But even to that point, like, I don't believe in perfectionism. And that's never been my, like, affliction. I'm more so the person who, like, just started to go. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking about what's the difference between being excellent and being a perfectionist. And I think that being a perfectionist will lead to a lot of analysis paralysis. But if you're a person of excellence, that just means that you put a lot of effort into the things that you do, but you're not scared to pull the trigger. Mm-hmm. Like, if I work hard on a project, I'm putting it out. You know what I'm saying? I don't, like, that thing gotta go. But I think a perfectionist, they'll always find a flaw and hold on to it, find another flaw, hold on to it. And that just makes you slow. So.
This is true.
You know, because I do have some people, they're the opposite of me, where something will be great, but they'll look at, oh man, I had some lint on my shirt, I can't put it out. And it's like, you
coming for me?
No, I'm just saying, it's like, yo, you dragging it. Put that thing out there and go and make an impact in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were excellent with it. You crossed all your T's, you dotted all your I's. Now it's time for you to let your baby fly. Like,
I love that you said that, because in my head I kept repeating what I want to say next so I can remember. So excellence, the difference between excellence and perfection, right? Is excellence is committed to completion. You're committed to finish it, right? And it's detail. Is excellence is in the details. So why would you hire a carpenter over the next, right? It's their precision in the measurements, and it's in the details, right? So you said that you dotted your I's and you crossed your T's. That's being detail oriented. That's being diligent. So that sets you apart from other people who's just let me get it done, and versus let me lay a brick every day perfectly. That's how you build a perfect wall. However, perfection is that's we're never going to reach perfection because there's no cap. Like
Yeah.
it's
You're gonna be with that one brick all year. Dang, it still ain't right.
right. Right, and there's no cap on what we can do. There's so much more. Like there's so much more to learn and to be and to do and to have. So you can never reach that because you can't.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a dichotomy. You know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta, you want to be excellent, but at the same time you want to also be able to move fast, and you gotta balance it out right. You know, because I know some people, they just want to move fast, and everything they do is crap, so they never get anything done. There's some people, they want to be excellent to the point where it's perfect, and they still never get anything done, and they never get anywhere because they never drop a picture or a video or a project or a product. So
Yeah, and again, that used to be me. So I understand, and I can relate to those people. So I could speak to them in a way that others who've never been there can. Like I can speak to them because I've been there. I've been in their shoes.
yeah, I was the opposite. I'll drop 10 videos and 5 events a day. I'll have boogers in my nose, spit around my lip, but I was action oriented though.
Okay.
And I had to learn, like, yo, you busy, but you're not being effective because you are severely lacking in the excellence department. Like, you need to kind of iron your clothes and, you know what I'm saying, brush your hair a little bit, and then, you know.
Okay.
So I had to integrate some more excellence into my life.
An image, right? That goes back to the perception. We judge a book by its cover. They say don't judge a book by its cover. So why we got covers on books? Let me know why that's there.
People say that, you know, and I get it. If you tell me don't judge a book by its cover, you're saying, you know, don't count somebody out prematurely. And I respect that. But if I'm a slob and you tell me, and I tell you, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, my words have no power because people are going to judge me by how I carry myself, how I sound, how I look. And if I don't understand that and adapt to it, I'm closing myself off to a lot of opportunities. And it would be foolish for me to not understand that people are going to judge me by my appearance.
Right. So I like to put a spin on that because they say don't judge a book by its cover, but I say judge prudently. That means okay, so someone has an appearance, and who do you listen to? You listen to people who have what you want, who have been where you are. Someone's telling you something that sounds good, but do they have what you want? Have they been where you are? Is their appearance cohesive with their message? Are they practicing what they preach? Right? That's judging the book by its cover, prudently though. I'm not going to count you out, but what I am going to do is I'm going to discern. If you are an image consultant, meaning you help people elevate their image through their clothes with not color therapy, but through their clothes and just how they appear and how eloquent they speak, just their appearance, right? But they speak with ebonics.
Yeah, they look janky.
Yeah.
Like, yo, homie.
I'm not hiring you. I'm judging prudently, and you're not the one for me. Even though I should work on my image, thank you for that. I'll take that. I'm gonna work with somebody who's excellent and diligent and cross the T's, dot the I's, and detail oriented. So much so that it shows in their appearance because we're a walking billboard for ourselves.
Sometimes, like there are people that I look up to as like mentors, but you spend enough time around them and you kind of see how they operate, and just by not having your eyes closed, you can see like, nah, this ain't somebody that I really respect like that, because you don't even be practicing what you preach. You mad egotistical.
It's like you just see that this person is not in alignment with what they're saying. That doesn't mean what they're saying isn't right. However, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm seeking someone who resonates with me and has integrity. That's is integrity. For them to preach one thing and to do another, like for them to stay in alignment with what it is that they're telling you to do, they have to do it themselves. Yeah. So that's integrity. That's what I'm seeking that in a mentor and a teacher. And I don't have to tell you about yourself unless you ask me. If it's unsolicited, I'm not going to, hey, I got a bone to pick with you. I'm not going to ruffle feathers, me personally. If they ask me, hey, you don't come around as much, I'm going to let them know. Like, to me, that's solicited. You asking me why I distance myself. I'll tell them about themselves in that way. But
when it comes to telling people about themselves, like, one thing I look for is like humility. There's some people with the second you try to criticize them, they're going to get defensive or they might kind of attack you. And I think that's like, so I listen to Proverbs a lot. And they talk about people that are foolish, people that are very like arrogant and proud. And so people like that I kind of consider foolish just off of what I read in Proverbs. And people like that,
come on now.
I don't even try to give them advice like that. Nah, because I already know how it's going to go. I'm going to give you my opinion and I'm going to set you off. And so nah, if somebody's humble though, I'll be like, hey, this is what I'm observing. And that's why I think humility is a superpower, because it allows you to get feedback, so you can use the feedback to change what might be cancerous in you and grow.
Come on now. So can you define for the viewers what humility is to you?
I think defining it is hard, but I can give examples of what humility is, or what a humble person does. I think a humble person, if you give them advice, they'll hear the advice that you're saying and they'll self-reflect and analyze whether or not they can actually utilize the advice or not. I think a humble person doesn't think that they're perfect and they're open to receive correction and to grow. I think a humble person, they don't think that they're better than other people. I think that they are quick to realize all the blessings that they've received in their life. So I'm aware of the fact that I was blessed with amazing parents. I was blessed with a great, education. I was blessed with a functioning body, with a mind that's not broken. I didn't control any of these things. I was blessed to go through certain situations. And like I said, 90% of the things that I have are not of my own accord. Because if I was born in a third world country and I was born with a physical disability and a mental disability, I would not be who I am. So a lot of the things that I have, it was a blessing and a gift. So I think humble people, they realize that and they're grateful about, they're grateful. They have a lot of gratitude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if I may give my interpretation of humility.
Yeah.
Okay. So humility, being humble, simply means lowering one's self-importance in the presence of God, in the presence of love, in the presence of truth, of knowledge, right? For the hopes of gaining. So, scenario.
Why you embarrass me like that? Why are you doing all that, man? Why you kind of stunned like that? You should have went first. I would have just kept my mouth shut.
You could switch the order. It's fine.
Okay.
So, this word used to hang me up sometimes, because someone that I followed and I revere, they was like, oh, I don't use the word humble anymore. And that piqued my interest. I'm like, okay, what's she going to say about the word humble? And she was like, if you look in the dictionary, it means to lower one's importance. So she took that as, I'm less important than someone else. Surface level, yeah, that's what someone can take that as. Going a little deeper, right? A little deeper level with understanding is, I am lowering my importance in a situation. I walk into a room and I'm not the keynote speaker. I don't have the expertise. I'm coming here to gain something. But if I dominate a conversation, if I'm not using my mouth and ears proportionally, listening more than I talk, I'm not gaining anything, right? To humble oneself is to lower my importance, say, hey, okay, let them have the spotlight. Let them talk so I can listen more and I can gain something. Let me not lower the content that's in my cup, but in a sense, yes, so I can gain something. If my cup is full, I cannot pour, nothing can be poured inside of me. If I'm giving to someone all the time, I can't gain anything. To lower your importance in the presence of God. God is love, right? Knowledge. wisdom, to gain anything. So you walk away fuller. So it's really, people got it backwards. When you're humble, you gain more, like you said, right?
Yo, that was deep.
And
This is deep.
thank
This is
you.
good.
Thank you.
This
And
is
that
good.
download came straight from God. I'm like, okay, so let me really lean into this word. What does this word really mean? Because to be humble is to be like a servant, right? Like listen, when we're humble, we actually gain more than someone who is a giver, but from an arrogant, looking down their nose, thinking they're better than someone. But there's a time and place for everything. Like, you are an expertise in your field, but if you don't know about gardening, are you going to take the fact that someone is a personal trainer, right? I know, like, you don't really do that no more, but someone's a personal trainer and try to pour into these people about gardening, but you don't know that from a hole in the wall. Let the person who does this all day, every day, give that, and you can learn something. That's humbling yourself.
This is deep. Humility is like super, super important. And even if I walk into a room and I'm being arrogant, I might feed my ego. So in the moment, I might feel good about myself. But some of the negatives of being arrogant is when I leave, people don't really like me. I didn't learn anything. You know, I didn't build any strong connections with people. So now my network didn't grow. If I walk in that room being humble, now people like me more. I didn't feed my ego, but I actually have real connection with people. They resonate with me. I learned, so I was able to talk to people and learn from them. So yeah, I feel like long-term humility is like the best way to go about it. And I hear a lot of people kind of bashing humility.
They don't understand, and that's okay, because the dictionary tells you it means to lower your importance, like to be meek and to dim your light. That's what they taking it as. So if they dig a little deeper, if they have the mindset, what can I gain from this? If they even switch the mindset, what can I take away from this? How can I switch this? And how could lowering my importance be beneficial for me? They will come across scenarios. They will understand.
I'm not gonna lie to you, like, if I read the dictionary and seeing the definition of humble, I wouldn't want to be humble.
May I give you my interpretation of humble?
Yes.
All right, so humility, one being humble, is to lower one's own importance in the presence of God, in the presence of knowledge, in the presence of love, in order to gain, right? So often people have a negative connotation with the word humble. I'm not going to lower myself. I'm not going to make myself smaller. I'm not going to dim my light. Understood, and you never should do that. However, if we consider to go a little deeper to understand why humble is even used in the Bible, right? Humility comes before honor. When one humbles themselves, they put themselves in a position to gain. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them proportionally. Listen more than you speak, right? And if we listen more, we're able to gain from what that person's talking about, versus if we're dominating the conversation. Like, if I was to feel like I'm the keynote speaker of today's interview and I never let you get a word in, I wouldn't be able to learn anything that you had to offer. I walk away with less because I had opportunity. I was sitting in front of a vault of wisdom and knowledge that I could have walked away from and learned something, but I missed the mark. I sinned. I missed the mark, and I didn't take advantage of that to let you speak and for me to hear something I need to hear. So to be humble, to lower yourself in the presence of knowledge. Somebody knows more than you. Everybody, right? Like, somebody knows more than you. You have your expertise, I have my expertise. Someone has their own expertise. If we don't know anything about their field, it would be wise to use our mouth and our ears proportionally, listen more than we speak, so we're able to gain from that. What God wants for you is like A1, right? God is giving you these instructions for a reason. And we personally, as this human nature for us to say, oh, I don't feel like doing that, or I don't think that's good for me, or I don't want to stop drinking, I don't want to stop doing this. I don't want to sign up for that. But what God wants for you is agape love, like it's steadfast love. So humbling ourselves is to literally say, okay, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to lower my importance because I know that I exalt God and I respect God so much that I know me going the way that God has shown me, that's leading me, is going to be beneficial for my life. I'm going to walk by faith. You understand? So
just to touch on that, So I don't drink, I don't smoke. I've been celibate for like almost 3 years. There are a lot of things that I don't like. I really try hard to commit my life to God and to not sin. And to most people, it looks like a life of repression. But me knowing, how I used to live and comparing it to how I live now and how I feel and the results that I get out of life, I 100% without a shadow of a doubt can say that following the will of God, no matter how repressed it might seem, I live on the outside, has been the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done. And I don't miss out on anything. And when you're going into it saying, okay, I'm going to give this up, give this up, give this up, it seems like you're going to miss out on a lot. And it seems like it's going to be hard and a treacherous way to live, but it's a blessed way to live. The wisest people that I know, even when you watch movies and you see like, like the rags to riches guy, the main character, one thing that you notice is that they're humble. They listen, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not fueled by ego and arrogance. And like the main thing is in a conversation, they listen to what people have to say, so they're able to take in knowledge. And the second you see a character who is more arrogant and who doesn't listen, or if that main character becomes more arrogant and stops to listen and just reacts with an ego, that's when you see them begin to have their downfall. So I think we even know this in real life. Whenever you see someone who's arrogant, who doesn't listen, who doesn't consider other people's opinions, and who talks more than they listen, you see somebody who's about to have a downfall. And like I've been trying to work on that too. Like, be humble, be humble, be humble, and it usually results in me talking a little bit less, speaking with a little bit less like arrogance, and my life benefits from it.
Even our mentors have mentors. Our coaches have coaches, because when they get it, right, we can never reach a cap where infinite beings, like we have access to infinite intelligence. There's always more to learn and be and do and have. So once we tap into that, we're knowing that there's abundance. Abundance meaning there's no cap. It's not finite, it's infinite, right? So to humble ourselves means that I'm a coach, yes, okay. I can teach people, I can pour into them, but there's somebody pouring into me. Ultimately, it's God pouring into me, but I'm still seeking to be a student. A great teacher was first a great student. That's humbling yourself. Like, and you gain from that. There's no loss in that. When you look at it from that perspective versus, I'm not making myself small, I'm not gonna shut my mouth, I got something to say, I'm not gonna dim my light. Nobody said dim your light.
I think the most confident people I know are humble. Like if you can't be humble, you're not confident. I think you gotta be people that are insecure. These are the people. They're arrogant, and it's like I can't let nobody take my shine. I can't let myself look weak.
Like right now. Huh? Like no, like the person saying that, like right now, like what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like and you might not see this, but to all of us, we look at and we're like, you insecure, and that's coming from a place of weakness. Like me, when I'm feeling my most strong and confident, that's when I'm usually being my friendliest and my most humble. Somebody cut me off, you can have it, because I know, when you know you got it, you don't gotta prove it.
Hello.
Like I told you, I used to do videos with like boogers in my nose and spit around my lip and
just not caring.
Yeah. Now that was being careless, but I was only able to be careless because I was confident. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't mind looking stupid. I didn't mind criticism, and I think that was very beneficial for me because it allowed me to take action independent of other people's opinions. Mm-hmm. I didn't let that slow me down.
That's good.
So yeah.
He's like, you're going to get this message. Forget the messenger, get the message.
Yeah, facts. Forget me. Like, here, take the message, forget me. You want to tease me? I don't care. I'm a vessel. It is what it is.
That's right.
And I think that's what happens when you really submit yourself to God. It's like, whatever happened to me, do to me as you will, but y'all can get this word, Like, take it up with the boys. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you say what you want to be, but you don't got a problem with me.
It's funny you said submit. No, I know that's like, I don't know, but that's another one. Humble, and then the submission. But usually, I usually don't hear a man speak about submission as in he's submitting and submitting to God. Can you just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I submit to God. Like,
What does that look like? What does that mean? Unpack that for us.
God is the boss. Like, I understand that I'm only alive. I only exist because of God. So He's the boss. You say something, I do it. It is what it is. Like, I'm a servant. You look at the army. Like, the best soldiers are the ones that know how to submit. The fiercest warriors, the greatest armies are the armies where everyone submits to one another. The soldiers commit to the lieutenants commit to the generals, the generals commit to the king, and the king submits to the people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you don't, an army or men who don't know how to submit, that is an army that is not an army. They have no discipline, they have no structure, and it's just like anarchy, free for all. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you could have a group of 100 men who are disciplined, who know how to submit to authority, conquer the fiercest warriors who have no discipline and who refuse to submit to any kind of structure or authority. And I've seen that. I know some strong men who are easily dispatched in life because they don't know how to be humble and submit.
And they kind of go hand in hand, right?
What?
Like submitting and humility.
So I'm gonna take it there. Even when I hear girls say I ain't submitting to no man, that I'm usually looking at an insecure woman. The most secure, confident women I know, yeah, I'm submitting to my husband. I don't care. Like, okay, yeah, that's my husband. And they're confident with it. Okay, yeah, that's my husband.
That's my husband. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Submissions for husbands. Me personally, submissions for husbands.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. Like, if I had a daughter, I wouldn't want her, if you gonna submit, if I had a daughter, I would not want her submitting herself to a guy that's a bum, you know what I'm saying, who not even going, you submit to your husband because you know that he loves you and he has committed himself to you the same way you have committed yourself to him. You got, you know that he loves you. I wouldn't want my daughter submitting to some guy who's just, going
Joe Schmo.
just going, hit it and quit it, or hit it, try to bring his boys on, run the train on. I've seen that.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm gonna be real. I've seen, growing up, I've seen girls, submit to a guy who had no good intentions for her and just wreck her. Not care nothing about her. So yeah, submission is for husbands.
So let's unpack submission. So really, the bare bones of submission is sub, right? So the prefix sub means under, subway, submerge, under. Mission, come under the mission. That's it. It's to come under the mission. If the mission is an umbrella, come under the mission of a man, of God, right? God has a mission for you. Being obedient, submitting yourself to God is to come under the mission of God and say, okay, show me the way. I take a step, God will show you the next few, right? With a man, with a husband, preferably, right? This woman has discerned. She has been prudent. She makes sure that he checks out, he's thorough, right? By the fruits you shall know him, right? See his patterns. This man is integral. He has moral courage. He checks the boxes. So when one decides to submit and say, hey, I'm going to submit, I'm literally taking your name. I'm coming under your mission. A house with two visions cannot stand, or I forgot to help me. Divided cannot stand. Well, if it's divided, that means it's two, right? So if you have a vision and he has a vision, that's not going to work. Anything with two heads is a monster. One should submit, come under the mission of her husband. He's the head and you're the neck, okay? You work together as a team, but it's literally, and you gain from that. So it's like these words that has a hang up, the humility, submission. Usually women just shy away from that and feel like, oh, I'm losing something by doing that. No, you're gaining. You are gaining by being under the mission of this man. He's in the front lines. Why? I always give this an analogy and it hits, it makes sense, it clicks. When there's noise at the front door or there's something scary going on, who's the first one to go check it out? And you in the house, it's a woman
You
and a
asking
man.
me?
It's
Look at the guy. Like,
it's the man. And then would he put the woman in front, or would he put the woman behind her? Behind him.
Behind him.
Okay, so it's for protection. You understand? So that benefits us. And if we don't want to submit, then why are we not the first ones to see what that noise was in the front door?
You know what's funny? Like, this is so common sense, but I think in the day and age we live in now, there are a lot of, women and girls that are like delusional about this topic, because we live in a safe bubble. It's like I'll hear people have conversations and they'll say, well, what if somebody comes to the front door? Well, I'm gonna go handle this.
Oh, you saying the women say that? They're gonna go handle it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It goes over their head, because if they just understand that, if they understand we're not equal, and I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers, but just hear me, we are not equal, we're complementary, meaning complement, the root word of that is complete, complementary. You understand? We're not, is salt and sugar equal? No, right? Because you wouldn't supplement one for the other. You wouldn't put salt in your coffee. They don't do the same thing, right? They're powerful in their own right, right? Women and men, we're different. Nature says that. You could look like our anatomy, we're different. Men are physically stronger than women. We're emotionally, and maybe even mentally stronger than men, because that's where our intrinsic value lies. It's internal, it's intangible, right? Like a man, this is no poke at you, get cheated on, it's the end of the world. A woman is like, all right, I still know who I am. It's not going to be the end of the world for us. We can deal with more emotional turmoil. Like, we just have that capacity to do so. Men are physically stronger than us, so it's like we're powerful and our strengths are different, and that means they're not equal. We're not the same, and that's okay. That's okay, and that's not just okay. That is beautiful, because that means I bring something that you don't have, and vice versa.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. The second I'm talking to a girl and I see, like, if I get the hint of, yeah, I'm masculine and I could, I'm super assertive, I'd be like, all right, so this ain't gonna go no further. I just excuse myself, because I ain't about to be trying to beg nobody to be submissive to me. It's it's a waste.
Right.
So, yeah, I just, look for people who are like-minded, and and that's the biggest piece of advice that I could give to men and women. Yeah. Don't try to, beg somebody to fill the role that you want them to fill. Just find people that think like-minded to you.
But that could be just the upbringing, being brought up from a single parent household. Their mom literally had to have the whole world on her back, and they say play both roles, which you can't, because you don't know how to be a man to be a father to these children. But taking on those roles, those responsibilities, and a woman grows up and says, okay, this is what I have to do, right?
Yo, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No problem. And that makes her more masculine. That tap into her masculinity more, which is action, going after it, getting money instead of attracting it to her. And her dominant energy shifted from feminine to masculine out of survival. And then one gets comfortable and familiar in that space, they don't know how to go back into being soft and feminine, because they're not in the presence of masculinity where they want to submit to that energy. Like being in the presence of masculine energy, like I don't know how to be anything but a girl. Okay? So, but if that's an unfamiliar energy to them, even though it's innate, it's intrinsic, and this is what they were born with, but they haven't tapped into it for so long, it feels uncomfortable and it feels like they're losing, then they're not going to want to embrace that energy anymore.
That might be one of the biggest things. I feel like society tells girls that they're losing if they act feminine. I think that's because most girls that I hang around, it's like it's natural. They act feminine, because they're feminine.
Yeah.
But I think it's the mindset of, no, I can't be feminine. I have to be assertive and be dominant. and it's like they rehearse that.
And those are all masculine traits. That doesn't mean it's solely for a man, because that comes in. We all have it in us, right? They're not 100% masculine. You have feminine energy, because we all do. And like creativity is feminine. That comes from within, right? Anything that's tangible, anything that's hard, anything that's forceful is masculine. Anything that's internal, anything that's intangible, you can't. It's not physical. Anything that is with flow and not structure, that's feminine. We need both. We come up with ideas. You can't touch an idea until you touch an idea and make it do the work. It becomes physical. You have to physically do the work, which is a masculine energy trait. You know what I mean? So we need both. So let's not get it mixed up in the minutia, like of I have masculine traits, so that makes me manly. No, that means you're just not operating wisely with the energies and don't have that harmony, using it where it, yeah.
You know, speaking about that, like, so I think so. I grew up with my mom and dad, and you know, good. You know, so my mom very feminine, my dad very masculine, and just having both of those two, you know, presence in my life has been amazing. Like, you know, I need both. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad being stern, it definitely kept me very disciplined, and it stopped me from getting involved in a lot of things that I should not have got involved in. So I didn't develop a lot of bad addictions and habits that would have been hard for me to kick, like now. My mom being as loving and nurturing, it put a lot of love in my heart, and the gratitude and the humility and the friendliness and the charisma I get it from, you know, my mom and her nurturing side, the feeling that, oh, I'm enough and I have enough, that comes from getting so much love. So yeah, I really think both are like super important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then when we don't have that harmony like you have with your upbringing, and God bless you, because that's beautiful. When we don't have that, then that's when it becomes toxic, because too much of anything is bad for you, right? Like, that's where toxic masculinity comes, is the vibrato of just operating solely in their masculine energy, not considering others' feelings, right? Not tapping into their soft skills. Those things that you spoke about, humility and kindness and being friendly, those are soft skills. We need that to function, and not be the arrogant person in the middle of the room talking about, I did this. Nobody likes that person.
In past relationships, I didn't like when my girlfriend, like, or whichever one, like, would act too masculine, would be not emotionally nurturing enough, and wouldn't be soft enough, wouldn't be reassuring enough, and be more, oh, yo, I gotta be productive, I gotta go get it, it's grind time. Like, I hated that. And you know, I would try to voice opinions, and you know, now that's one thing that I'm very like aware of when like I'm dating now. It's like, okay, do they have characteristics that I like or dislike? And like I said before, I'm not really down to try to change anybody, to try to force them to be more feminine, because nowadays you say that it sounds like a curse. So
May I ask you, what are the traits that you seek? Then how can you spot, okay, she's a feminine woman?
damn, it's gonna sound bad, but who's able to take orders? You know, now look, I take orders. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a good soldier the same way I'm a good leader. If I'm following, whether I could be like, so I do branding work, so I will put myself in positions where I'm being submissive to a woman because she's in the leadership role, and I will follow her orders. Do this, I will get this done. What are the marching orders? What do you want done? Sam, I need this, this, and this done. Okay, I will get this done.
That's right.
So I need someone who is able to follow orders.
Yes.
And let's say even if we working together, we're married or whatever. If we are in a realm where she's more, I guess, like familiar, or she's more like an expert, you know, okay, this is a partnership as well. You know, like, yes, I'm the head or whatever, but you know, what do you think? And if you're more, I guess, adept at this, you know, in this thing that we're dealing with, okay, you know, I'm gonna get it done. So I need someone who's like able to like follow orders. And that sounds bad, but I hope I gave a good.
You're talking to the right one.
Okay.
Yeah, I get you. And the scripture says to submit to each other. So what you just described about the wife having more expertise in this field, right? The scripture says submit to each other.
Yeah.
It's interchangeable, but the dominant role for a man is to lead.
Yeah.
Understood.
And I truly believe that, like, I think people and a lot of women make a bigger deal of this than they should, because as a man, every girl that I've ever loved, I've loved with my whole heart. Like, I would have died for them on the drop of a dime. I'd give my life to protect them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's how you
so do it. You know, so and I feel like most men are like that. Most men, we would do more than women could imagine to keep them safe. Like, our safety is sweat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I ran into situations like that recently. Like, you know, girls going through something, guy steps in, I will put myself on the line to solve your problem.
Yeah.
I will put myself on the front line. I will brace the impact for you. And, you know, I think that's, so I think when you look at it like that, I don't think, like, if I had a daughter who had a boyfriend like that, I would be like, yo, that's a beautiful thing. And yeah, so this is a good man who will protect you. So, and if he's wise, then you should have no problem submitting to him and following his lead, you know?
Exactly.
See, that's one thing. Someone who's able to, like, follow leadership and take orders and not feel any weaker because of it. And I think that's why you need a confident woman who knows I'm great even if I'm following orders. I'm great even if I am following someone. You know what I'm saying?
And wise to follow those orders, because you trust this man's judgment. You chose him. You used discernment before you said I do. So why question his leadership now? You know? And I wanna touch on that because I've written a book, a shameless plug. A shameless plug. I've written a book.
You wrote a book?
Yes.
Okay,
so it's 10 feminine lady commandments. And one of them is thou shalt choose harmony, meaning choosing harmony over being right. Choosing harmony in a relationship, in a marriage, right? So let's say in a relationship. Instead of self-righteousness, following this man's lead. In the example I give in the book, not to spoil, but let's say you're going on a road trip and the man is driving and you know, ladies, that he's going the wrong way. Now, you're met with two options here. You can either tell him, hey, babe, you're not going the right way, or you can let him find his way, and if you're wise about it, you can make suggestions in a way and like sprinkle it with some femininity so he think it's his idea, because no man likes to be told what to do. The suggestions are fine, but to say you better or this, that, and third, if I told you right now you better turn off that camera, how you gonna take that?
That pissed me off. I know, like tonality, the way you say things. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. If it's like, oh, can you, you know, if you stay in a softer way, super, you know, like nice and sweet. Okay, shoot, I go turn that camera off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You need anything else? You know, so yeah.
You need anything else?
No, bro, I'm dead serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So a woman who is wise and to know that men don't like to be told what to do, and this man's the air that he breathed is to lead, is to protect and provide for you. Him being the one that's driving, him leading you to this location, this Airbnb, whatever it is, and you know, ladies, that he's going the wrong way. There's a way to go about that. Instead of saying, okay, you come over here and I'm gonna drive because you don't know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Or you know,
that's
you
crazy.
see what I'm saying?
That'll ruin. Yeah.
Choose harmonies. You know you right. You know that he's going the wrong way. But how are you gonna go about that? How are you going to? And people usually say, I'm not gonna tiptoe around his ego. That sounds like a fragile ego. No, that sounds like you're being wise, not to stomp and trample over this man's ego.
Yeah, I feel like, we could even talk about that, because I think, so even little things like girls having male best friends, right? And as a guy, I'll be like, yo, I'm not really cool with that. Well, I'm not going to change, you know, he's going to stay here and your ego going to just have to adjust because I ain't dealing with that. Now, a younger man or a less experienced man will, okay, you know what I'm saying, like try to work around that. a man who's confident, who's like about his business, never talk to you again. Your girls out. They've said that to me. Okay, never spoke to them again.
Right.
Because I'm not dealing with that. I think men, we crave honor and respect. Like for me personally, I crave honor and respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that, that's biblical too. You know what I'm saying?
So
like women, honor your husbands. Husbands, love your wives. So I want to give as much love as I can to my wife, and I want as much respect and honor as I can get. So even if I'm doing something wrong and my wife is going to correct me, just correct me as somebody that you honor and respect. Like if you have your boss at work, right, or the CEO of the company that you work for, if he makes a mistake, you honor him. So there's a certain way that you're going to correct his mistake,
right.
Or you might not even bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Because you honor and respect him.
Right.
So that same honor that you're giving the CEO of the company you work for or your boss, give that same honor to your husband, because that's what we crave. And if you don't honor a man, that's the quickest way to drive a man away.
Seriously. So that's something that men need. And I knew that, but you said it. It came out your mouth as a man. Honor and respect. And what's equivalent for women is we love to be cherished and adored. Right? And with that, there's love, and then one has to respect somebody to cherish them. So let's not get hung up in that. Oh, I want to be respected. That's masculine. And when somebody cherishes something, you cherish your daughter, you're going to respect her in a way you're not going to stare her in the wrong way. You're not going to talk to her in a certain way because you value her. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's a layer of respect there, but that's not the main thing. It's
a little different. You know what I'm saying? No, but
yeah.
like if I respect you, there's a certain amount of love there, but if I love you, there's a certain amount of respect there. But they look a little bit different. Like if I love my wife, like it's different than me. I'll speak to her a little bit differently than if I really, really respect somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like I think respect is more of a
reverence.
Yeah, it's like I honor you. Love is more like it's like I want to protect you. Like it's a little different.
Right. So the man wants to protect and the woman wants to be protected. You see how that goes hand in hand?
Yeah.
You see that? Like literally, that's the yin and yang. Like we complete each other. We're whole as you. You're whole as you are. I'm whole as I am. But this is so good. Somebody said something. I forgot his name. He said something and it resonated with me so much. He said, okay, you're whole as you are as a man. I'm whole as I am. Well, he said the opposite because he's a man. I'm whole as I am as a woman. You are hydrogen, right? And I'm oxygen. To make H2O, to make water, we need to come together. To make something that's never been made before. To bring something new. To breathe fresh breath on this life, right? We can't do that being whole by ourselves. We cannot make a baby by ourselves. You understand? So you being hydrogen, I'm being oxygen, we're good in our own right. But when we come together,
even our biology and the way that we operate, it tells us the importance of us being one unit. And I think in society now, it's like independence is preached so much, it's crazy. But like literally, we've only survived, like babies are born, like life is created when there's, when men and women come together. Like there has to be like unity, like we have to come together. So I think that's super like powerful.
And to stand on what you say, that's why I respect, and I used to listen, I still do listen to his content. Kevin Samuels, the late Kevin Samuels, he stood on what he stood on it. And he was unapologetic about it, very masculine. And if we just take our emotions, ladies, take your emotions out of it and get the bare bones of his message. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. What he said always resonated with me versus his delivery. Okay, we can always learn from somebody, whether it's what to do or what not to do. And let's not get hung up on the delivery of things. Get the message. Let's not get hung up. If you had lint on your shirt and a booger in your nose, get the message.
Exactly. No, but what I will say, so for us as the audience, it's good to be able to look past someone's delivery and harshness to be able to extract the wisdom in their words.
Discernment, man.
But for us as communicators, it's in our best interest to work on our delivery so that we don't turn people off unnecessarily and create bigger problems for ourselves. So I think everyone needs to take accountability. People in the audience that are listening, and also the people that are communicating. Because if I do a video that is spoken with so much arrogance and so much, hostility, even though I might be dropping gems, if I say something that offends too many people and I end up getting myself canceled and, destroying my career, I have no one to blame but me. That's my fault.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Of your own doing.
Now, if Kevin Samuels has an amazing message, or if Andrew Tate has an amazing message, but because of my preconceived notion of him, or, you okay?
Always. Thank you.
Or because of his delivery, if I don't extract the wisdom in his words, I have nobody to blame but myself. So
That's
either way,
right.
we got to take accountability. And just as a communicator, I'm working on that. I'm trying to work on being more.
You doing it.
Okay.
You're doing great.
I'm gonna say, I understand that we don't say trying, but it's like a force of habit.
Yeah.
So I'm working on.
You got this.
Stop doing that. I'm working on my delivery. I'm working on the way that I speak. And even when I speak with words that are softer so that I'm able to reach more people. And even in my own life, when I look at every good thing that I have, or any amount of significance, or any following that I have, it's because of humility. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't necessarily the bravado that got me to my highest points. It was being humble and building and nurturing relationships with people that has paid off for me in the long run. So I believe in standing on your word, but also you just gotta use wisdom and understand. If I speak to you like you a dog, you ain't gonna like me. You know what I'm saying? That's not in my best interest or in your best interest.
Right.
Harsh words stir up strife. So
that makes sense. And I've learned that there's no right or wrong. It's just always a better way of doing things. Always a better way.
right.
You know what I mean?
For every good thing that Kevin Samuels has done for his life, you look at a communicator like Barack Obama, or somebody who was a little bit more wise with their words and the way that they delivered things, and they were able to achieve so much more just because of the wisdom that they had when it came to communicating.
I just want to acknowledge, how about I take instruction? You told me stop doing that, and I stopped doing that.
I know, good job. And I knew you was too. That's
I'm like, oh, okay, thank you for teaching me something about myself. Okay.
But I have a friend who's like that too. He's like, yeah, don't say try. And I be thinking about it, I'm like, it ain't that serious, But this is, you have your own perspective on it, and I don't want to, impose my thoughts on it. But when I think about saying I'm trying to do something, I think that's me being humble. I'm about to try to win this. I'm going to try to win this race. I'm going to try to build $1 billion business, and I'm going to try my best. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, I tried. I think I'm being a little bit more realistic.
Okay.
I heard what's your perspective on it? Go
Sure.
ahead.
I would love to share that with you. So I heard something, and I was like, ooh. And I think that was the day it switched my perspective. It pivot. Try to me. Actually, two, I'm going to share with you. So one of them is, somebody said trying is failing with honor. I was like, ooh, I tried, right? Failing with honor. That's number one. Number two, there's an African proverb that says, not proverb, there's in African language, the word try, it doesn't translate. We have a word try in English. They don't have it in their language. So when someone invited somebody to a party, and it's like, oh, will you make it? Will you be there? I'll try. And then it was a translator. I don't have that word to give to him in his language. What is try? Either you're gonna be there or you're not. And she's like, I'll be there. There's no word for try.
Okay.
But when it said,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And this is, kind of a joke, but not really. Is there a word for attempt?
Oh, I don't know. But I say attempt. That sounds better to me. Because, I don't know, just trying sounds, I don't like to say hope, right? It's either faith or it's not. hope is better than not having any hope, but it's like the first level. Oh, I hope this happens. I have faith in this is going to happen, right? And like words are seeds. I like to be very intentional with my words. And if I slip up because we're human, I say cancel that, right? So, but I hold my friends and people I love to a higher standard. And when I hear something that I feel like might be detrimental to them, whether they're aware of it or not, I still would love for them to consider my perspective on it to see if it's beneficial for them. You know what I mean? So another one, and I'll turn it back over to you, is when it comes.
I'll turn it back over to you in a second.
Another one is when writing goals. A lot of people say, "I will do this. I will be a college graduate. I will have this car. I will." When you say "I will," of course, having willpower is wonderful, and will being used in the right way is beneficial. However, saying "I will" and impressing that upon our subconscious mind is always put in the future, right? Or "I want" means you don't have. Stay right now. Now's the only time that we have. So I'm so happy and grateful now that when you asked me about my goal, that's how it started off. I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn in excess of $100K plus per month. You understand? So being intentional with that means it's happening right now. Now's the only time that we have. There's never a future. Tomorrow is today when it arrives.
Yeah, you a poet or something, girl? Like you, yo. I like the way. Okay, nah, that's beautiful.
Praise be to God. Thank you.
Okay, I understand that.
Did you gain something from that?
Yeah, not like okay. So, dang, I hate doing this, but whatever. I get it, and I understand why you say that. But I have no problem saying my goal is to make $400,000 a month.
Go ahead.
I have no problem saying I'm going to try and lose 5 pounds over this week. I'm going to do my best to lose 5 pounds this week. Like I have no issue saying that because my heart in my mind is strong. So if I'm saying I'm going to try to do something, in reality, I'm really going to try to do it. I understand, playing the word in the mind, it's going to sound bad, but I understand playing, just don't take offense to what I'm saying, because it's not directly towards you. I understand the playing word games and mind games with yourself in order to, motivate yourself. I get it, but I'm not against saying, oh, are you going to make it to this thing? I'll try. Like, I will legitimately try. Like, or it's like, I don't know yet. I'll let you know. Like, I'm being realistic.
And I think a lot has to do with it. It's the fact that you're so disciplined. Someone who's not disciplined, maybe they can't play like that. I'm gonna try to get up and do these workout for 20 minutes. I'm gonna try to do that.
Yeah.
But you're disciplined, so you're gonna do it.
When I was like my first interactions with being self-disciplined, I did a lot of extreme things. Like I was on the whole like, yo, to try is to fail. We gonna do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was big on that. But now that I have command over my mind and body for the most part, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So if I say I'm gonna try. Like, and I think you have to get to that point. So if you are somebody who ain't disciplined at all, then I get it.
Do you think when saying try is like grace?
It depends. I mean, it depends on you. Like, I could say like, yo, all right, I'm about to try to lose 5 pounds this week, and the talk of the lips, leads only to extreme poverty, penury. You know what I'm saying?
We quoting scripture right now.
Yeah, but in all labor there's profit. So I could say, oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire, or I'm gonna try to be a millionaire. It means nothing. The only thing that matters is, are you gonna do the daily routines and rituals that's gonna get you that $1 million? So I don't really put life and death is in the power of the tongue. You know what I'm saying? So I do place importance on the words, but at the same time, I know in order to get results, to get profit, to get excess, you got to put that labor in, and that's super important. So if I say I'm gonna really try to do this, and I really try to do it, the chances of me doing it is exponentially greater than if I say I'm going to do this, or it's already happened, and I don't put that work in.
Right.
So
absolutely.
I mean, I get it,
and I get you too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So So what's the next one? Oh, I was telling you qualities that I want in a woman.
Yeah.
Dang, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
All right, so one who can follow orders. That sounds crazy. But you know what? I'm
Stand on it.
Yeah, you know, someone who's confident. Someone who is like gracious. So you know when she walks into the room, like people like love her. You know, it's like, oh my God, like she's so nice and sweet. One quality that I really like is if we go out somewhere in public, do you smile at people? Do people like you? Do they respect you? You know, if a guy is talking to you and you don't want to be in that conversation with him, how do you handle that? Is it just you give him a stink face and ignore him and just walk off? Or is it like, you know what, sir, I'm really enjoying this conversation, but I have to go. I'm sorry, but you know, have a good day. Like, that's what I look for. There have been girls I've shot my shot at, and they've turned me down with so much grace. It's like, oh, snap. Are you sure? You know, like, I like you even more after that. You know what I'm, you know, so that's something that I look for. Like, are you gracious, confident? You know, like, are you, like, diligent? Are you, you know, strong, a hard worker? Yeah. And beautiful, but that's, you know, kind of on the shallow end.
Yeah, for sure. That's good. Those are really good. That's really good. Yeah.
What about you? What do you look for?
In a man? A man, first and foremost, God is center in his life. That has to be evident. Like, I have to know that. And that wasn't on my list before. And it wasn't on my list because I wasn't there with it. I wasn't here with God. So now that I'm here with God, I see that in a partner. So a man who puts God first, right? A man who's disciplined, that shows up in his physicality, that shows up in his work, how you doing things, how you do everything. So even if a man is the most sought after man in his field, but that doesn't translate in his body, that's not for me.
Yeah, like, yo, you killing at work, but you that gut, baby, what you doing?
Yeah, I don't like that. So, God, discipline, a man who's a gentleman. Like, me personally, I need that, and I create a safe space for a man to want to do that for me, right? His vision, his purpose, and mine mesh. So a man whose purpose, first of all, you have to have a purpose for yours to match mine, for us to come together and create to make water. We got to make water without vision, without purpose. And we have God, we have gentlemen, we have a man that's disciplined. Legacy. So that goes with purpose. Who's legacy oriented.
I told this girl, I was like, yo, I'm named after my father, who's Samuel Emmanuel Dickerson Sr. I'm Samuel Emmanuel Dickerson Jr. I want to name my firstborn son Samuel Emmanuel Dickerson III. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm big on legacy, you know, family, you know, like empire, dynasty. Like I want to, you know.
Love that.
And she was like, no, this is 7 billion other names. Like, you know, picking up, I was like, yeah, that ain't gonna work, sweetheart. This ain't gonna work between us.
She don't take instructions, but continue.
Yeah. That's it. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we did. We went over that. Like the fact that she know how important that was to you, and that's a non-negotiable in a way. And she just saying, there's so many other names, ma'am. Like, does it take skin off of your back to name your child this?
Fact, you know, like you're gonna name him after you, you know. But yo, next question. How do you feel about? Dang, I hope I don't lose this. Don't say nothing. I'm not gonna lose it. I'm not gonna lose this one. How do you feel about women taking their husband's name after marriage?
I think it's tradition, and that's me personally. I don't. That's how it should be.
What about like a woman hyphenating her name?
People do it for different reasons. Someone gave me a different perspective on that. She said that she would do that because her father passed and she want to honor him and keep her surname. I said, okay, that's honorable. I understand that. So she would hyphenate it. Me personally, no. I want my husband's last name. Like literally, you think about a wedding, the father's walking the bride down the aisle, handing over the bride, which is his daughter, to the new man. Like, she's your quote unquote responsibility now. You are to cover her as I have covered her. You understand? So like coming under your umbrella, I'm submitting to you. With that comes the name. Right? And think about the children. So y'all not a team, like y'all not wearing the same color shirts. Like, come on now.
Yo,
we all got the same name out here.
Yo, that is like my biggest thing. It's like, I have my family, right? You have your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I leave my mother and my father and I find my wife and we cling together and we start, this is now our new family. You know what I'm saying? Like, forget what you and your parents did. I'm forget what me and, like, not in totality, but like, we have a new family.
Yes.
We have our children. And in their eyes, they're looking at me and you like, we are one unit now.
Yeah.
So I think finding somebody who has an issue with that, who doesn't see it like that, that's another thing that I look for. It's like, yo, how you feel about taking my last name? You know, and if they can't see we are starting our own tribe, I don't want to force.
Right. And you don't want to force that. So it's just like, okay, that's how you roll. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go that way. Because there are people who would gladly take your last name. And for ladies, discernment, okay, your last name have to carry weight. Like, what am I married into? What am I submitting to? What is your mission? What is your vision?
Oh, you're saying the man's last name has to carry weight?
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? What legacy are we leaving? What am I willingly giving up my name for? You know what I mean? So that comes with discernment. Like, what is the word? Vetting the man, like the suitor. Okay, do you check the boxes? Do you give me what I need? Like, are you going to protect me, provide for me? What kind of man are you? What kind of husband are you going to be? What kind of father are you going to be to our children? What does that look like? What are your values? All of those things. And that woman will willingly submit and take that man's last name.
Yo, I think if a woman finds a man who she truly respects and deems like really worthy, I think a lot of the issues that we've discussed, I think they wouldn't even exist.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I know, like, so if my daughter comes to me, you know, and asks me to like kind of like vet the guy that she brings home, I'm gonna be harsh. I'm gonna be like, yo, what you about? Like, what's your vision like? You know what I'm saying? What are you trying to build? And if he's a loser, I don't want you marrying my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I want to marry you know what I'm saying? Like a soon-to-be king, or like I want to marry the man who's gonna love her and cherish her. So yeah, I mean, I think that's important. Ladies finding a man who, like, you know, who got it going on. Yeah. Ooh, okay, we'll about something. I like that.
Yeah, not just a plan too. Okay, by the fruits you shall know him. What have you done so far? Okay, this is not a pipe dream. Where's the fruit? Okay, like let's not fall in love with potential, ladies. Like, let's not do that. Everything's potential. Like, the air in here is not nothing. That's potential. Like, ideas are potential. We have to do something with that.
It's a fact. Yeah, you gotta judge a tree by the fruit that is bad.
Yes. Like, eggs and sperm are potential children. Does that mean there's actual children, like babies? No. Everything's potential. So that means nothing. Men and women, whoever, have potential by default. By default. What are you doing with that?
What are you doing with that?
What are you doing with that?